Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Cross the line in 3, 2, 1.
What is going on, my Impact Wrestling fam? Welcome to episode 119 of the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. My name is Geoff, and as you can see, this is a solo show. We've been blessed to have Lucha around for quite a bit. Right now, he's enjoying the festivities of WrestleCade on his way back there, so he'll be back next week, and we'll catch up with him. But this is definitely a Thanksgiving hangover kind of day, right? Want to take it to take our time with this. Don't know how long we're gonna go. Sounds, I should pre-write this shit. But yeah, we're gonna go with it. We got some fun things. We do have a power rankings, even though there was a Thanksgiving compilation episode. But there are some things from that, so we will review and kind of, hey, speak of the devil, there's Lucha himself. We will review this episode, not in a grade way, but just kind of a talk about it and reminisce and talk about some things that did pop up that are relevant today. But as you can see, new look of the show here. If you checked out TBN on Thursday, Craig's coverage of Overdrive there, they got a new look as well. Power Rankings will be right behind that. And yeah, we got some fun things going on here, some changes. We got a team meeting tomorrow, some more to come out from that. But we talk about all the things we want to do, but we want to get back to, just talking. Millard showing up there. What's up, buddy? Get back to what we like doing, talking Impact Wrestling, having fun doing so. And the looks of these things are step one. Easy, make it easy for us to get right in front of the computer and talk to you and interact. And hopefully this chat lights up. That, like I said, as I always stumble over, is the lifeblood of the show. So make it about more of a fireside chat. We talk to the chat that always lights up, keep that fire going. And then we'll talk the hot topics as usual. We'll still hit up all the other jazz. But this power rankings that's about to hit is the team's top 10 talent. Oh, you can see it there. Which we're most grateful for, more thankful for. Kind of keep it with the festivities of the times here. Hard one to do. So Lucha says life bloodline. Amen. But yeah, so we'll go over that in just a second. But as I was plugging all the shows, obviously Tuesday, you could catch up with Tatia and Bert, GoGoPowerRankings. Obviously, go show Tatia some love. Obviously, taking the loss of the original Green Ranger. Pretty hard, man. And rightfully, yeah, I understand completely. I remember when Eddie Guerrero passed. It was like, yeah, crushed. But they'll have a show this week, and that show will be expanding as well as aforementioned, so look out for that. Love what they're doing there. Of course, followed by another LOL TNA, myself, Lucha, and Johnny. This one this week is the Battle Royal that we were supposed to do. 20 men enter, Super Eric first, Johnny Swinger last, 2K, WWE 2K. Check it out, Tuesday. And then, of course, Thursday, Talking Bloody Nonsense. All right, guys. Numbers are where they are. We appreciate it. As we always say here, one friend at a time, one fan at a time. And we mean it. That means for Impact Wrestling. That means for us. And we're getting to our Bound for Glory goal of 350. It goes up, goes down. Don't know. Make sure you're subscribed to us. Hit that up. Hit the like. Hit all that stuff. Who cares, right? As long as we get the chat. The one that does matter, I want to get to the Twitter to 4,000. Let's get Twitter up to 4,000. Show Io all his hard work. And show it some love by getting us to 4,000. We're creeping back up. Let's get on those power rankings. Lucha said it wasn't hard for him. It was kind of hard for me. There we go. Let's check it out, guys.
Number 10, Masha Slamovich. Number 9, X Division Champion, Trey Miguel. Number 8, The Death Machine, Sami Callihan. Number 7, Speedball, Mike Bailey. Number 6, Moose. Number 5, the Motor City Machine Guns. Number 4, the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo. Number 3, Ace and Bay Bullet Club. Number 2, world champion Jordan Grace. Number 1, world champion Josh Alexander.
I think that was fair. It's hard, man. I look at it when I was voting, and I won't even take any notice in the 1 through 10 of it all. But I looked at it as an NBA All-Star game, right? 5-on-5, even though we'll say 5 spots. Not obviously there was more than 10 people. But yeah, I can't argue with that. There's just so many on the cusp. I mean, like Macklin's not on there. VBD didn't make it. I mean, there's so many. Tasha. There's a lot of them, man. Good place to be, though. It's a testament. Ace and Bay are 4-0 thus far in the Super Junior Tag League. Shout out to Io for that stat. That's true. I'm glad they made it so far. They're so high. I know it doesn't really whatever, but Ace and Bay, like to say, man, the Daniels and AJ of this new era. It's gonna take some time. It's gonna. You know, obviously they re-signed, so it seems like we're in the launching point again, which is nice. See where they land, but I think it's only up from here. And going to do this, the Super Junior Tag doesn't hurt their stock. So when they come back, and there's something actually interesting we're going to talk about. So the hot topics that we'll get to in just, obviously a bit. Might be a shorter episode, guys. We'll talk. We'll have some fun. We'll see when I put you to sleep, and that's when we'll end it. But in regards to hot topics, we got to talk about Angel signing. I want to talk about Shop Impact, just about the merch. You can see it scrolling down there in the Tron. Still under construction this is, but on the Tron there you see some really dope shirts coming out of Impact Wrestling right now, from Impact Wrestling. And then also new belts, stuff that talk about there. We're going to talk about IPWF, a little bit of the card that was released. We won't get to, we'll get into the spoilers. Obviously, Lucha was there, so next week we could talk about that and some firsthand knowledge of it. But I also want to hit up the cliffhangers. We had a few. There's some mention from you guys as a response to them. I want to hit them both up in regards to, was Overdrive number 1 in the Impact Plus specials this year? Now, we had a comment on that, and looking back, I think they might be able to get to that. And the other one was, if we were to put a 5-on-5 Lethal Lockdown, the returning OVE versus VBD, who's your 5? Or who's your 10? So we'll get to that as well, but let's move on from Power Rankings and talk Impact on Access TV. No gimmicks, no noise. Get back to to conversation and having some fun with this stuff, man. Not that wasn't. It's just, it's me and you guys. Look at this. Made the chat bigger, and you guys are already filling it up, minus the giant logo I put there, but we'll work on stuff. So this episode, though, started, if you want to consider this part of it as well, Raj and Shira picking up a victory on a Thanksgiving block of Impact Wrestling. Pretty cool there. Over Yuya Uemura. And Delirious. Turning Delirious, who's been working backstage a little bit as well. Shira's the new OVW Heavyweight Champion. Yes, he is. Pretty cool, man. A long time from, right? I really dig him and Shira and Raj together. I hope it expands. I've told you my idea for that. I think it would be dope to put a fur jacket and a Lambo with I keep wanting to say Sheik freaking Rollins now. Thanks, Lucha. With Gujar, Bhupinder Gujar, and these guys. But we'll see. Either way, nice victory for them. And keeping their name as a tag team together, keeping them a viable option. I like that. So at least that was relevant. And then we go to Impact, and Tom and Matt are in front of the screen there, and they're doing kind of a callback, the traditional throwback episode. But there are some peppered things in there that were pretty cool. And to be honest, I watched this beginning to end. Being a day oneer, man. There's some stuff that you're just so, yeah, I know this. I know this. I know this. And you probably do when it comes to trivia or stuff from the past and, whatever. But going back and watching, it's another thing, man. Like, for instance, 2008 Turkey Bowl. I got in my notes because I'm not going to remember any of this shit. Rhino defeated Shelly and Bashir. And I remember as soon as it hit, like it was yesterday. But if you told me about it, I couldn't tell you anything. I do remember, and I want to hear your guys, man. This is obviously a little bit different of a show, a little more laid back. We obviously don't have too much debatable things to talk about. Just kind of talking and having some fun here and talking with you guys there. And I apologize as the logo, as you guys pass up the logo, I'll say hi to whoever that is in the chat. Thank you, by the way. 104 on twitch.tv/TNAIW channel every Sunday here. One fashion form, whatever. We're here. But yeah, it was cool to go back and see this, man. And I remember because I haven't gone back and read it, but I did find my Mick Foley TNA, when he was in TNA, he had the Countdown to Lockdown book. And the turkey match, I remember he was talking about the Motor City Machine Guns, and maybe I'm getting the time messed up here, but I remember him mentioning that his segment with Alex Shelley and him in the turkey suit. And something as a punishment, and that his son, he came home and his son had an Alex Shelley haircut. Yeah, I remember that. Good read. But yeah, what the nostalgia here, man. And I wish I took notes for this. I have the breakdown, but as I was saying, this is obviously Nick. I just watched Nick Gage versus George Southland. Damn it! Wow. Hey, Datia. Speaking of, what's up, Datia? Joining us here. But this is that good TNA, that old TNA feel. Loved it. Love to see it. Love Mick Foley, man. I wonder what would happen had Hogan and them not came in. And I won't get into the debate of what was good or what wasn't of Hogan. I think everything happens for a reason. And if we didn't have Hogan come in, there would be things that wouldn't have came to fruition otherwise, right? But you got to think. I wonder sometimes, Mick Foley's still there as Main Event Mafia running. But this was cool, man. And I feel like we're getting back to this with the X Division of having viable... Well, I mean, now Rhino obviously isn't part of that, but Shelly, Bashir were obviously part and whatever. I don't know. Next, we get some thankful stars, which I like, man. I really like. Once again, TNA vibe. People want that narrative that people, want to keep up of TNA this, TNA that, but go back and watch it. Make an opinion for yourself. There's a lot of good stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of shit. I mean, we have a whole LOL TNA is based on some of it. Okay? But at the same time, there's just some good stuff that you would be missing out if you are a pro wrestling kind of person. You would be doing yourself a disjustice, not by or disservice by not checking out. But yeah, the Thankful Stars thing was a cool thing. I like this because some of them stayed in character for the most part. And obviously I'm skipping around because there was a few throughout the night, but Trey was stuck out to me, Taylor Wilde. So there was, some good stuff. Next, I'm not going to get too much into, but a nice little VBD thing here. Kind of continuing, we got to go back to where it started. Khan and Angels are questioning already. So interesting. We'll get into that fantasy booking because that's part of the cliffhangers we have at the end here. But as far as VBD and where it goes next, I've said it for the new listeners and viewers. I'll say it. And for the old ones, here we go. Good for a refresher, right? I really think Masha and Macklin are made for VBD. I think you can grow this group. It's an awesome brand. It's cool. No one can really... Who's going to shit on EY? Now, granted, I'll talk about it later if I think EY is going to be part of the future from here, or it needs to be. I know there's a lot of people that don't want Diener to be the guy. I still think, eventually you have to give him the ball to see where he fits in that regard, or where you can, is this the time? I don't know. Running VBD, is that the end game? I don't know. But I just think it would be damn cool if Macklin and Masha were part of that. Fits it do something else with EY. We'll get to that. Go back to where it all started. Next was there. You guys are already hitting it. Pure Gold. The Kurt Angle Thanksgiving. I don't even know if this point, if someone could correct me or help me out here. I know it's 2007. I don't know if Karen Jarrett really is an on-screen character by this time, like a full. I see her and JB kind of already playing the chemistry there, so I'm guessing so. My timeline with this is off, but pure gold. Some stupidity, of course, but I'm gonna be honest. I watched this late night, and I geeked out when Black Rain and Rellik came in, because man, it was at that point that I was already like, what else can happen? Who else could walk through this? You got Karen Jarrett in a full Land O'Lakes gear, is what they called it. Even though I'm pretty sure the Land O'Lakes lady was a Native American. Not mistaken. She wasn't on. Mama Karen was a character on TV. Okay, thank you. But you had them. You had Black Machismo. You had the Guru trying to collect money. You had Scott Hall and Kevin Nash just pieing Karen in the face. Angle, excuse me, at the time. You have Bully Ray. Oh, my Lanta. I remember those days. Still waiting for someone to help me out with that. I can't find it, but when they came in the company, man, there was a couple options for their names, and some of them were just head scratchers. But yeah, they looked at there. But still good times. Didn't get how everyone scattered away and then everyone came back, but who gives a shit? It was entertainment. Shark Boy all bruised up. I know I'm missing a lot of stuff, man, but good shit, dude. Good shit. Oh, I can't see who's that. Oh, Kurt was slacking on being a husband of the year. Jesus. Oh yeah, Awesome Kong eating alone. Not only was she eating alone, man, she was eating plastic fruit. Good shit, man. And once again, one of those things from TNA that if you don't go back and watch, you don't know, Oh yeah, Kira telling 3D they sucked. Yeah, it was good. Kurt playing dry the whole time too is always phenomenal, man. Love Kurt at that time. Who was Tom? AJ and Tomko were both there, right? Because they all held hands. AJ at that time too is gold. Prince AJ of Prince Phenomena or whatever it was. Good stuff. Keep this rolling because we're talking about a. Oh yeah, EY, are you Batman? Yeah, the Pilgrim up. Yeah, that was good stuff. But obviously we're talking about a review of a show from over 16 years. Oh my god, or close to. Next up was a recap though of Mickey and Taylor at Overdrive, which I thought was cool that they worked these in. And then of course Deanna, the bitch is back moment. Yeah, Christian missed the invitation. So Best Side 92 had mentioned on there. Shout out to him for always commenting. But why are we getting through these matches so quickly, though? On the flip side of the question of Deanna versus Mickey so quickly. And I want to know what you guys think. Is it a matter of, are they rushing through it? Is Mickey in a certain amount of dates or a certain amount of time frame to when this ends? Is that part of it? We have to think about that as well. I don't know. My thinking is, yeah, they could stretch it out, but they're not really. I'm sure they have a certain amount of dates and time period in which they want to, whatever. And as Io said there, Mickey's just having bangers. And I think if that's the way you go out, I think not everything has to be a giant storyline. I think at this point, just kind of like how Masha previously was, it was the I mean, not, but to a minor degree, the winning streak or the last rodeo itself is the story. So I see all sides. I get that, but I'm fine with it. I would imagine it has something to do with they want her, and maybe it's hard to kill. Maybe it's hard to kill her versus Jordan already. But I think at the end of the day that Jordan doesn't lose that until Masha. And I know there's another comment about that as well, about did Masha lose some steam? I don't think so. I get it. Not on the show they didn't say her match is the death match. That's outside of this. But as Impact, she's just brutal, right? But they're adding layers week after week, and the loss is what's actually making those layers form. It's I would say it's like the healing of skin, right? She's got scars from the losses and the skin's healing. That's where I feel like Masha's at, and I think third time's the charm. I don't think it loses anything. Gives Jordan, stabilizes her and cements her. The Deadly Boys. That sounds right. Lucha, that sounds right. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where it goes out, but I have no... Masha making the top 10 of grateful or for thankful for a must. And I know that means nothing. That's a small sample size. I get it, but she's going to be okay. She's going to be okay. All right. Very simple. She's going to be okay. Moving on. Next up is Robbie defeating Grado in the 2016 Turkey Challenge. And man, look, I'm going to be real. I fast forward right past through this. I watched his dancing. Of course, going to watch his dancing. He's an entertaining dude. But that whole era from Seamus O'Shanagan or whatever his name is on the outside to the big soulless screen to the sorry, and I know I've talked to her on Twitter years ago, but the soulless girl watching in the front row. Just fast forward. 2016. But Grado loses here. 8-0 Shea, thank you. Critical Stakes. I say no, it's you because I see the 17. Always coming in clutch as well. But yeah, moving on, man. Do love the turkey suit. Love that they kept that up. Love that great, that moment. It's funny, but come on. Next up, it gets a little better. It's right before what I would say is the sweet spot for me of TNA. So of Impact is that 2013. The chick that looked like Rihanna. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. She's got a vibe like that. Yeah, again. But yeah, so. Oh wait, I'm skipping around because they did do the Frankie and Josh thing here. Well, I'll go back to that. So let's stick to Spud's Thanksgiving 2013. This still had Ego in there, so that's cool. You still got your Rude, you still got your Gale, you still got your Bad Influence. Love the bromans in this because this is their first title. By the way, if you watch that and never watched Impact before, or maybe haven't watched it, whatever it may be, whatever. Those belts, if you don't pop over those tag team titles, beauty. One of my favorite all time. I mean, I'm talking to all organizations. Just beautiful belts. But yeah, Lady Tapa's there. So it's getting right around that gut check and beyond time where it gets a little wonky. But good to see some familiar faces still there. Whatever. So going back now. Oh, of course, that ended in a food fight, if I'm not mistaken, or like one of the team, right? There was the losers, the winners, the stipulation. That's what it was. The winners of the night got to enjoy the festivities. You got to work for your food in TNA. Yeah, and so we get a whole breakdown there and typical stuff, but enjoyable. But now we're going back to something, obviously more recent. We're talking about Frankie versus Josh at Overdrive. What a phenomenal match. I'm waiting, but I'm going to go back and watch that rather soon and just watch all 40-something minutes. What a beautiful thing. Bromans as tag champs was certainly a call. I'm going to be honest, myself, Johnny included, will admit to this. We popped when they finally won. Because they were entertaining. They were an entertaining segment on a show that had its hits and misses at that point or maybe going back, I could change that or, change my point of view. But at that time, it wasn't going exactly how the TNA fan wanted, I'd say. So to have something that entertained us in a segment, as much as I say about Kenny King, which is a good segue, but just to occupy a segment, be entertaining. So when they finally won, even though they were like the bitches of the tag division, for lack of better terms, to get that victory was like a shot. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I always enjoyed it. But yeah, so we're talking Frankie and Josh here. Great match. And then, you know, I said it last week, they play into each other. If it wasn't Frankie and his family didn't go, then the Bully thing doesn't mean as much. If Bully isn't the person that hasn't, just a beautifully told story that was the culmination of something that everyone wasn't sure about, and spun it into a very, very, very positive way. And we'll talk about a little bit where Bully's at. Bully, man, top 20? Come on. I mean, it's a small roster, so everyone's going to be in the top 25, but damn, I just, what a breath of fresh air, him being here. And then obviously the callbacks as well, because he's in, oh yeah, he was just in one of them. And I think one more, right? If I'm not mistaken, we'll see. But, yeah, so then we get the extra footage, now, which is great because I didn't get a chance to see. I'm not on Twitter as much. For no other reason, just work and time. But I knew they had released or showed the footage of Rich, which sets up the match Bully versus Rich this week. Getting back in the groove of things. But Scott comes down and throws this stuff at him. And look, all of that is so good. But if Bully doesn't have the facial expressions and the wherewithal to be in complete character in that moment, none of this shit matters. From beginning to end of this segment, man, you know, I just ate it with a spoon. And seeing this extended cut, if you will, just added to that, man. Because he knows that's his boss. He knows he could be fired, right, kayfabe? Well, not really, but in this situation. So he just stands there. He just eats it. And just come on, man. Such good stuff. And I think this is headed. We'll talk about it. You see a Bullet Ray there at Hot Topics if you're watching on YouTube or on Twitch. And we'll get to that. That's based off of Jamie Stay Ready. Shout out to him for his comment. But we'll talk about that and where we think this can be going. So continuing on, Kenny King, he's talking Bailey here. I love this, man. Once again, segment filler that entertains. Sometimes, especially in the trios, he's got me here, there, and everywhere. Shout out to Craig. But you know, it's Kenny King. And he's saying he'll go for the gold. But right now, he's here to expose the fake Mike Bailey. And I love this. Because this keeps Bailey relevant. And having a pretty solid feud here. You know, we have titles, we have things, but there's no real, like, feud, right? This is a feud. So we get Kenny versus Bailey, and it continues. And obviously, inevitably, Bailey's going to be, you know, up here. But I like this. Getting back to, once again, having storylines outside the main title of the X Division. Love it. Next up is another throwback, 2017. Are we getting warmer or colder for you guys? As far as, like, whoa, where we were at in 2017, the Turkey Trot. It's Team Eddie Edwards versus Team Phantasma. So this is the beginning of the Octagon back. This is right after? No. Where is this in the GFW range? Is this when they were still taping everything? I don't know. But we have Phantasma, we have Ba, and you have Borash and Eli navigating in the ring this. So it's Eli's, Turkey Trot, 2017. Of course, ends inevitable. It's a good time once again. Ends with Adonis taking the pin, which means he has to wear the turkey suit. You know, not my favorite time. Not my favorite time. Next up, you got Yuya and Delirious talking about being thankful. So there's that. Macklin is furious, which is wonderful. Keep Macklin on her mind. Didn't make the top 10, but how can he not be in your top 15? I mean, none of this matters. I mean, the roster right now, we're hitting a nice little peak in Could it be bigger? Of course. But for what we are, I think I'm enjoying what we have. Eddie Edwards, by the way. Not Eddie Edwards. He made the show, but he didn't make the top 10, man. So we don't even have Eddie Edwards on this list. Crazy. Macklin's Furious has said that. Oh, and then we end the show with Samoa Joe defeating AJ and Sabin in the 2007 Turkey Bowl. AJ wearing the suit. So this is the same year, which makes sense why he was still in character of the Prince. Okay. So of the Kurt Thanksgiving. That's pretty cool. And look at the history here, guys. Love it. Love it. What was your guys' favorite moment? Let me know in the chat. Was there anything that was a throwback that maybe you haven't seen before? Something that popped you that you didn't expect? Was it the rat on top of Black Rain's head? Yeah. All right. So obviously we don't have any poll results for this, so I just want to know what you guys, let me know that. I want to hear some positive things. If you're rocking with us, I thank you. Obviously, it's a different kind of episode. We don't have a show to review for the most part. Just talking, chatting, enjoying the holiday, the last of the holiday weekend together, guys. And talking over some interesting stuff. I didn't have Eddie on mine. Now I feel bad, but he turned on the fan, so I feel that way about him. That's fair. No. It's not okay. I mean, look, once again, the roster, I understand, could have some names. I get it. But when you take a step back and just look at the names that we do have, should be thankful. And it looks like, which we'll get to in just a second, we're getting back to investing in some talent to fill certain spots. To fill certain needs. Not everyone has to be a main eventer. Not everyone has to be a four-tool player. But you can have some people that come in and fit. And they thought VBD's Angels, not Allen Angels, which I dig. I like that. I did make the joke of Dollar Tree Daniels. So Daniels, Angels. Nah, that's not. I mean, look. I've said that multiple times. I've enjoyed the rub he's given us. Be honest, it's been nice to, and I know that sounds so whatever, but it's nice for people. Just like I said about the Kingdom being here, even though on a higher level, it brings eyes. They might not be able to say, "Hey." I love Impact Wrestling, but they could say, oh, yeah, I love Allen Angels. He was in AEW, right? Now, there was another comment I want to make a mention of, Best Side 92 as well, and this was going back to the Bully Ray thing, and I kind of forgot to mention it. But he was mentioning about how the Impact crowd, when watching that segment, was so silent, and if this was a WWE crowd or an AEW crowd, they would have reacted tenfold, right? And I think there's two things that go in this. He's saying that the crowd is generally people of their 50s and 60s. I don't think that's the case. But would I think that Impact naturally has an older viewership audience? Yes, I would. Because, once again, it's about being comfortable enough to say, yes, I love that thing that used to be TNA that no one has watched yet continues to complain about. Okay. So some people don't want to fight that narrative. People generally in their older age don't give a shit about a narrative or staying hip, right? So maybe that is the case. I didn't really notice that. I thought it was a generally broad audience the few times recently that I've been. But is that the reason that they're not as loud? No, I think it's actually the opposite. I see a lot more people with AEW shirts on or other ones that are just still not sure if they want to get up and be on TV supporting. Now, maybe I'm reading too much into this. I think the other part of this is, though, the other side of this is that when you have a sample size of 500 to 800 that Impact does, compared to a 12,000 to 10,000, 8,000, 5,000, whatever it may be that those other two get, it's not going to equate. Okay? If you go to a show and in AEW, I bet you if you look in the crowd, maybe not, maybe I'm wrong. And same with WWE, there's going to be a bunch of people who are on their phones, doing something else, not paying attention, because that's the era we're in. But the ratio of the other 7,000, 8,000 people in that crowd outweigh that little group of people that might not be as loud. Impact doesn't have the benefit of that. So I don't know. I don't watch WWE and I don't watch AEW, and that's nothing on them. Pro wrestling. I still mean that. I always mean that. Time. That's all it comes down to. And Impact is the brand I've rocked with since day one. So it's no slight. At the same time, I just think if you look close enough, or you take a step back, you can understand that there's the sample size. Now, you could say at the same time, shouldn't that sample size be louder because they should all be Impact fans? Well, I don't know. That's something else. Now, maybe they go hand in hand. Maybe it's a mix of the two. Maybe it's audio. I don't think so. I think the crowd's been coming off pretty well. I just think also when I've never in my life as a human, just in natural life, okay, saw something and got up and said, boo! Like, that's just not natural. It's natural to cheer. It's natural to clap for things. A booing, and in this case, in regards to the bully thing, what do you just boo him the whole time? I mean, I guess. Yell things at him. That's what I do. I don't know. But, point taken. Anyway, what's your guys' thoughts? But, so, yeah, the retire this is Impact. Yeah, I see some of the guys in the chats here. I want better chance in the crowd. Yeah, if we were TNA still, it'd be easier. It's hard to Impact Wrestling. Like, you get people behind that. I try for X Division, whatever. And all those old classic ones. But, yeah, this is Impact is... I'm not a big fan of that one. Too wordy. I want some fire, man. Chanty. And you know what we gotta get back? We were the master. Don't even gotta bring TNA. They should be that. Leave that in the past. I can't read all of that, but yeah, I miss we were the masters of the firing chants. Let's go. Right? Boom, boom, boom. AJ, Daniels, whoever it was, we always gotta get that back. Gotta stake our claim. They took our tunnels, but they cannot take our chance. Let's keep moving on there. So Angel Signs, and my point with that is that we're filling holes, and VBD is a brand. It sells merch. It has a cool look. You don't have to explain too much or invest too much writing into these characters. They have a common bond in what is violence. And there's that. Cool segments, cool look, viable brand. So bringing in and swinging on a Khan and the Angels isn't too big of a deal for me. It's not a needle mover, but it's a refresher, and it feels good. Feels good to have some more people in there. I don't think this is the end game once again. We'll get to that in just a little bit. But I enjoy the fact that we're bringing in some people. We took a look at them and they said, okay, they fit in here backstage maybe. They fit in the locker room. They got something to give. And he's a young kid still, so not Khan, but Angels. So what's your thought on Angels, man? And what about the name? I love the one name thing. Obviously, if Diener is going to be Diener, and he had to drop the name. And well, I guess... Wait, is Doring? Oh, I guess Doring's just Doring, right? I guess they could Joe, but whatever. Continuing on though, so we hit up VBG Angel Signs. That's nice to see some people moving. What I was gonna say also about that is we talk about this all the time. I always talk as if you guys watch daily. So for the people that are weekly, so the people that don't, we understand the people that we've lost and the people bringing in maybe not equivalent, right? We lost the Good Brothers, we lost Mia Yim, the Kingdom, gotcha. At the same time, there's that foundation resetting before we take some swings. And what they're doing is resetting and restoring our faith in the brands we have, the VBDs, the individual characters that are going to rock with us, be that Ace and Bay, Macklin, is it Deanna? We'll talk about that, I hope. I hope that's not part of this. Hope Deanna's not on her way out. I keep doing that. Last week I did Moose as well. I'm not trying to be the pessimist. I'm forever trying to be the optimist here in this world of professional wrestling. But real life plays a part. I think she's a fixture, man. I think she's a fixture. Especially with Macklin getting his thing. Doesn't mean you have to stay, but makes sense. But yeah, so they're filling in these gaps and then using that other money wisely, it seems. Is that what's boosting the merch, which is what I'm about to talk about next? Is that what's allowing them to get new belts? Even though they're not much different, just a little shine, a little font change it looked like, right? But they got new belts. And as you can see, if you're watching, viewing this compared to listening, audio listeners, thank you for starting to rise again. But look, Killer Kelly's shirt, I just saw PCO's go by. Mickey James's new one looks fire. Taylor Wilde's. Got the dog tags for people who like dog tags. The money there's advertising on Raw, there's advertising on Dynamite. They're not sitting back. Are they flaunting? No. But are they strategic in where they're using that money that we lost when it came to talent, or gained back, I guess if you want to say that way, when talent left? EY won't fit in this new VBD because he has two names. Fair point. I like that. Death Dolls with more merch. I know there's some ones I'm missing, but even the graphics are everything has been stepping up. But we've talked about that on the show as well as on the actual stuff. Everything is shinier, not just the belts, but the product. Do they need some work here and there? Yes, I still think a set would be cool to fit the vibe of what we're going for, what they're going for in the future. But I think there's a lot to come. Major players have a new shirt. Don't hate the major players. Hate the game. Dope shit. All right. But yeah, go check out Shop Impact. They got action figures obviously on the way. They got all these new shirts and merch looking cool. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm going to say I'm happy. These little big things that make us, once again, and it clicked with this Thanksgiving episode. It just felt, I know this sounds whatever, but it felt homey again. You remember when TNA, you had Don and Mike, and you knew they were going to be there, and they're going to do it felt homey. Putting the graphics on top, the layover, I love all that stuff, man. And the attention to detail they're putting in this is just, it's nice, man. It's nice. And maybe I'm just a little over, excited because these are little things that should be great all the time. And hey, look, from this point forward, as long as they keep it, I'll be happy. But it's cool, man. It's cool. It's cool to see. It's just going back, especially in the treehouse as well, and watching old stuff. It's just like, sometimes we had some shitty logos and some shitty graphics and some really bad merch and some things that we just. So I'm thankful, tying that all in. I'm grateful and thankful. Next up is one that is, as I said before, from Jamie Stay Ready, who had mentioned Bully Ray. Especially with the whodunit, because we had mentioned they're just going to throw away the whodunit who attacked Bullet Club. And something about Bully is, Bully's always, he's going to bully, right? Lucha's naming them off in their taglines, X Factors, all those jazz, man, yeah. Tail of the tape? Great stuff they're doing. But with Bully, there's something, you could say this was predictable, and maybe it was. I thought they were actually going to go with the Josh being more annoyed. They played this like a fiddle. But with that being said, Bully isn't a one-step planner, right? That's his character in TNA is methodical. He's a cerebral assassin. And yes, I do hope we bring Cross the Line back. So Bully's a cerebral assassin. Can't help myself from saying it that way. So he's always plans, right? There's steps to the plan. Wonder if that is him being in charge. I mean, I don't know if in charge is the right term, because Jay White kind of hops, of Bullet Club US or Bullet Club Strong, whatever they call it. I'm old. Ace and Bay planned it all along. Maybe, I don't know. He did that with Aces and Eights. I thought it was an awesome idea for Jamie Stay Ready. Shout out to him or her. I don't know. But yeah, what do you guys think? What about Bullet Ray? Bullet Ray. I don't know, man. Could that be the next? If you want to put a rocket on the back of something, and maybe that be Ace and Bay after they come back from the Super Juniors, throwing them with Bully. Now, does that mean he wins? I still don't think that's the case. I still think we hold out for Macklin. But if Bully's sticking around, I think it's a damn cool idea. What do you guys think? Next up, I want to hit on, and we'll touch on it more next week because it had already aired. But also, Lucha will be here. He'll be back here. And he'll talk about this first-person experience with it. But IPWF is back, and I know it was meant to a smattering of applause. Is that even a word? Smattering. I, for one, was excited. Especially since the last one, the real 3, went into the universe and was never heard from again. So, and then going back at LOL TNA and watching the first IPWF Throwback Throwdown, I'm excited. Not only do I think it gives the talent something exciting to do outside the norm of what they do, the same character they play on television week after week, do I think that's a signing point? Does anyone say, oh man, they do this IPWF thing once every year, I want to sign with Impact? No, unless you're the Good Brothers maybe, but I still enjoy it. I think it's healthy. I think it's refreshing. And with 52 weeks of 51, I guess, because of Thanksgiving being a whatever, it's nice to add something in there that's a change of pace, a gear changer, if you will. Without spoiling too much, I can say it was the most entertaining IPWF they've done. Huh. All right. I'm interested to see. We got some good shit. We got DJ Too Large coming back, facing Sonny Sanders' new acquisition. Wanda the Werewolf, Savannah, that's great. With the $304,000 man losing his money. R.D. Evans losing his money as the shows go on. Versus Rough Rider Georgia Cobb, Jordan Grace, so I hear. And then Dreamer, that egg-sucking dog, versus Pelvis Wesley, the original Flying Elvis, with Colonel Corn. So that's what they've released so far. I think there was a divisional championship match as well they've announced. But excited to see what they put out here. Whatever they do, it's going to stick out. And there'll be some damn entertaining stuff. And once again, TK pissed me off with Santana and Ortiz. I can't see what you guys are talking about. Is there something new? Let me know. I'm out of the loop with this stuff. But yeah, IPWF, look forward to that. And I want to get to the cliffhangers. Oh, the exciting division. Oh, I get it. Okay, I get it. Because of AEW, they may never team up again. Yeah, man. I think once you take the guy... Look, Santana... I've said this before. Santana's a star. And Ortiz is a talent. Don't get me wrong. LEX. Mega talent. But Santana, before he got injured, I thought he could come back and be one of Josh's foes. What I thought what Taven could be, what I think Macklin will become. I thought he could step in and be that guy. The North versus LAX, they have that history, so they can be rivals for the rest of their lives. Batman and Joker style. So I don't know, man. So them not being a tag team sucks, but at the same time, it was inevitable for them to break up. What I think time and separation and distance does make the heart grow fonder, man. And they're brothers, one way or another. So eventually they'll come back around. But yeah, man, it does suck that they didn't get their due there, man, for whatever reason. And I hope in one facet they come back, we get that moment, especially Santana. All right, but the one I want to talk about first, I want to hit up who was it that said this? I don't want to get it wrong. Krignal Sting 17. Shout out to you. Said that in the comments. Emergence had 5 month of the match of the month or match of the night candidates. Contenders. It's time to go. Match of the night contenders. So he's saying Emergence is the Impact Plus special of the year. Didn't get him any other options. Let me know what you guys think. See someone was at Lucha saying a proper breakup would have been nice. I agree when it comes to LAX. I do want to say that, but I want to. This is where my fantasy booker comes in. Wonder if Santana does come to Impact and he does main event or he does do something on his own and he's got a high level of success, and eventually Ortiz becomes available. And who they could do a who done it, who's attacking him in the mask kind of thing. Maybe there's a group that who knows what it may be. And you rip that up and it's Ortiz and they have a blood feud. I could see, come on guys, there's some good stuff that's happened. Beer Money has had a great breakup. America's Most Wanted has had a great breakup. Impact is known for giving you the great breakups as well as the great tag teams. And maybe it happens in Impact. I see Lucha Overdrive, then Emergence. Okay, we'll keep this open. We'll keep Cliffhangers as a segment in general. But the one I want to talk about is VBD versus OVE. So what we challenged you guys was OVE, your own creation. 4 dudes at least, and then 1 knockout. Same for VBD. Okay. So for me, I'm going under, because here's, I'll skip ahead and tell you guys your next cliffhanger is going to be your 4-1 if this was a War Games. Okay, so Lethal Lockdown has now become War Games, and we have VBD, we have OVE, and now we have Team Canada. Okay, try to save your people. So what I mean by that is, with my VBD, I took EY out of it, because I'm going to put him on that Team Canada. Spoiler alert. We'll save that for next week, but okay. So with my VBD, I'm going with what I said. Yeah, Sacrifice is another one you can't leave out. I agree. Shelley versus Jay White match. I got Macklin and Masha lead in this thing. We got Diener, Khan, and Angels. So I kept the normal crew, and then put the right now crew, and then I added the 2 that I want. And in OVE, they're facing. I'm gonna keep Sammy in that because if there's no Sammy, there's no OVE. It just doesn't work. It had the Chris been there, and then Sammy was booted. Okay, maybe, but we're years ahead, right? I got Sammy. I got Havoc, because I think Jessica. They're if we're doing the Sue thing, and once again, we don't know when Sue's coming back. But if we're doing that same route, Sacrifice was ill. I agree. All plus specials for bangers. If we're doing something with Havoc where she's Jessica, she's Havoc with the mask, and she's, Decay Havoc, there's got to be a third. And a Jessica being with Sammy and having that look and vibe would be really cool. Be really cool. Wish it into existence. Now, maybe not, but if this Lethal Lockdown, if we get Lockdown back, and there's a 5-on-5 Lethal Lockdown, let Jessica be part of it. But I got Sammy and her leading this. I got Rich. Sue wrestled today. Awesome. But I got Rich Swann. Because there's one of those moments in the rising of the phoenix of Impact, right, from the ashes, I'd say, when this new crop came over. One of the storylines that stuck out the most was the Rich versus OVE. And what was really cool about it, being an old head like I am, is that I remember DDP NWO stuff. You guys probably, some of you do as well. And there was that moment where they gave him the shirt and he put it on, and everyone believed that DDP had joined NWO, and everyone had believed that Rich joined OVE. Then he does the cutters, and then he runs out of the ring and rips off the shirt. It's a moment I'll never forget. And it's this management team that put that together, and it's one of those things, man, that sticks out. So I would put Rich here. Is he from Ohio? No. but you know. In kayfabe, bro. Kayfabe. And then you know what, man? I say you bring him back. I say you go Jake Christ, and you go Madman Fulton. Seems fair. Could your fantasy book and say, okay, give me Moxley, right? Yeah, but come on. That's not fair, guys. What do you think? So I got VBD versus OVE. It's looking like Macklin, Diener, Khan, Angels, Masha, Sammy, Fulton, Rich, Jake, and Havoc. Who wins? Who wins that? I have to go OVE. And I don't know. It depends on how it's booked. Because if you're putting Macklin and Masha in it, they're obviously on a different level at this point. But let me know what you guys think. Fulton getting the AEW dark money. Yeah, you're right. Jake something. Bring them all home, man. Millard, actually, I see that up there, buddy. I'm sorry I missed that. Ex-Impact wrestlers always find their way back to Impact. I agree. Oh, you got Trey Miguel in there. Yeah, that fits. I love this new Trey, man. Is it there? There you go. Sign. There you go. Whatever. All that for nothing. What do you guys think, man? What do you guys think? Replace Rich with Trey on yours. Everyone's saying that. Okay. Fair. What do you think, guys? Let me know. VBD and OVE. Lead the lockdown. Fantasy booking. What would you do? Similar? Not even close. Let me know. You can do whatever you want. And then next week we'll get to. I still want to hear your Impact Plus specials choices, because when we meet up as a team, as I already talked about, we're also going to talk about we're going to bring back our Nonsensy Awards. You guys are waiting for them, the third annual Nonsensies. And we got some Wentz and OVE, okay. But one of them is always Impact Plus special of plus special of the year. So help us out. Let us know. Saw Sacrifice, saw Emergency, Overdrive. Let me know what you guys think. Will it be IPWF? It's possible. But we got a lot to look forward to as well on Impact. This week we have Bully versus Rich, Deanna versus Mickey, and Macklin versus Kaz. If that don't sell you. And then the Friday right after, obviously the day after, we have IPWF. So, man, we got some good stuff ahead. We got some stuff going with us here. Some changes, some different looks, some different things. Start moving on. I won't drag this on too much further. But, yeah, we'll be back next week. Lucha will be joining me. And we'll get some inside knowledge on IPWF. I had fun talking to you guys. Hope you enjoyed your holidays. We'll be wrapping up. Make sure you check out GoGoPowerRankings this week. It is the top 10 that we just showed, but I think they're going to talk about it. Tell their side. Did Tia didn't vote? I don't believe so. You get a fresh opinion of hers. And, of course, Bert can tell you his side of why he voted and who he voted for and who should have made it. And if you want to make a difference, at Bert Macklin 11 or at TNAIWChannel. Join the team. Join the power ranking committee. It's really simple. Got some new cats in there. Killing it. It's really simple. They could tell you. You pop in. You right in there. You mute us. And you pop out. every Thursday between Thursday and Sunday at noon Eastern. And then, guys, I want you to take the challenge. Think of your Team Canada. 4 dudes, 1 knockout. Check out LO Trine this week as well for the Battle Royal of the Gimmick Battle Royal. The Gretchen Wilson All Jacked Up Cup. Try to say that straight. Make sure you subscribe, all that jazz. It was 347, went down to 345 right before on the show. I don't know if that's a algorithm thing. We'll see if it checks out, but just check. Make sure if you're watching us here live that you on Twitch, make sure you subscribe or whatever it is for this. Follow us there. 104 right now is our number. And then if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, like all that jazz. And guys, it was fun. We'll have a good rest of the week. I'll see you next. Oh no, I'll see you Tuesday, which in the treehouse. Already there, guys. All right, Team Canada next week, and then this week, Bully versus Rich, Deanna versus Mickey, Macklin versus Kaz. Thank you to the chat. Life bloodline of the show. And if you want to join us every Sunday, 8 p.m. live, twitch.tv/TNAIWChannel. We appreciate it. I appreciate talking to you guys. As I always said, the reason I started this was, obviously during the pandemic was to talk to human beings. Talk about Impact Wrestling, have another narrative on that, build some confidence talking in front of a camera for my outside stuff that I'm really do as far as career and stuff. But the process in the past 2 years, going on 3 of doing this, man, have been wonderful. Talking to you guys, talking to the chat, meeting people through meeting people on the chat. It is just, it's dope, man. Especially in these times where everything else in this world separates us. It's nice that we can all talk stupidity, literally nonsense. Talk art, man. Talk an art form, enjoy it, have different opinions, come back around to see other people's sides. It's pretty cool, man. I dig it. Love you guys. I thank you. We'll see you next week. Check out all the other shows on this. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. And once again, I always say this. I want to make sure I say it for those listening to the last minute of the show. If you don't like, Geoff does his best work by myself. That's what my wife says too. If you don't like what you're hearing from me, from the I will put it on the chat, from me or from anything else, there's nothing wrong with that. There's many other Impact Wrestling voices out there, and anything you can do to support, to grow this community, including the checkout shop, Impact. He's never alone. That's right. Never chat alone. Go do so, guys. Support Impact Wrestling. Support this channel. Support other channels. Thank you for coming out. God bless and good night.